Good morning, all. A very good morning, to each and every one of you, and welcome to FYI. We are happy you folks are here. We hope that you've hit the ground running. Folks, it's Thursday, the 7th day of December already. Believe it or not, might as well say it's month end. Thursday, the 7th day of December. Lots happening at our end. We hope that you guys are after a fantastic start to this new day, folks, and that you're rising to the challenges. We ain't just happening, we ain't just living, we thriving in spite of the circumstances. Good to have each and every one of you on the live this morning. Leslie Hamilton says not one correct. We got the latest, folks, on the Ghana Venezuela front. Christopher Chichester, we see you there. Shondell Moses, Carlton, Beverly, Sheila Hazel, all you wonderful folks. Good to have you guys on the live this morning. Take the opportunity as the morning is young to share the live, smash that emoji button, folks, and partner with us as well. We would have been delighted if we used to run on water. We still had water bill to pay, but it would have been less stress on us by far. But good to have you here this morning. Jason James says, mighty rising Guyanese. I love that. That's our own styling. Mighty rising, mighty rising. People is do things their way, and then we got the Guyanese way. Mighty rising, each and every one of you joining us. Mighty rising, Pam Hines, is it? Pam Halls, sorry. Sabina, how you doing? Camille, mighty rising to all of you. That's in our own unique way. Mighty rising, folks. We got a lot of challenges. Currently, a lot of challenges ahead of us, but we got to keep, mighty rising. Shondell Moses and Camille and all the other folks joining us. Take the opportunity as we're starting our broadcast from the national capital city here in Georgetown. Take the opportunity to share the live far and wide, folks. Margot Bacchus, good to have you there, and Debbie Collins. Leslie Hamilton, Margaret Nelson is here as well. Good to have you, Margaret. Yolanda Thomas, and wasting no time, already made a contribution to our broadcast via YouTube. When we're live in the comment section, there's a dollar sign or a symbol there, and it encourages you to purchase a sticker. And some of the proceeds come to us, folks, so we can keep our program going. Thank you so much, Yolanda, and all the other folks who've been so instrumental keeping our program going. But as Yolanda has done it this morning, thank you, Yolanda. Wish it was a bell. So thank you the right way we want to say it. Jason James, Philella Innes, Kyle Bino, Leslie Hamilton. Isn't that one crew, Leslie and Kyle and Debbie? Is that crew? Yolanda Thomas and all the other folks joining us this morning. We got a lot of things to discuss, folks. A couple of things in the morning papers, a lot percolating locally. Them boys in here in Caracas, they can do till overdo. Y'all know how we say it colloquially. You can do till you overdo. Dion Ayana, Bibi Sandy Ford, good to have you on the live. Jennifer Argyle is here as well. Jennifer, good to have you. Lola Greenwich, good to see you, Lola. Kyle and the others sent me a photograph. They had a meetup. We're happy that our programs facilitate all these meet up and greet up, hatch up and match up. We're so happy. We're so happy. Good morning, FYI family. How are you folks doing this morning? It's Thursday. I can't wait to get to Friday, folks. I was at Friday yesterday. Folks, yesterday we had a parliamentary, what do you call it? Not a parliamentary outing like we, on a frolic, field visit, that's the right term. We had a parliamentary field visit. We had to go and check up on what's happening there at the Hugo Chavez Rehabilitation Center in Babis, where we're taking the elderly and other folks there who got challenges. Right? We were there, and then we had another stop. That took us well into the afternoon, early yesterday morning. You see, we have to go on the ground and make sure things are working for our citizens, that we're providing the services we say we're providing. So you got to watch these guys, you got to watch them. So that's what detained us yesterday morning. And, to be honest with you guys, I actually forgot I had an assignment. Actually, I forgot I had an assignment for the Parliament, because I would have told you all in advance what was going down. But I told you folks in advance what's going on. But we're happy that you guys are. We're together again, folks. We're together again. Praising the Lord. Who like it and like it? Something good is going to happen. Something good. Is it so? Y'all in the residence there? Folks, good morning. Good morning, good morning. You all hear the residents there, folks? Something good, folks, something good. Is it so? Yes, it's so. We're together again, folks, in the morning papers. Let's turn it to Kubel Lodge. To Kubel, I think Starbucks News' editorial this morning kind of put it in context for us. Like the elevator reaching the top floor. It's so sad that, millions of people are dragged along. Millions are dragged along. And this charade, this facade, this cockamamie story, right? Margaret is you. Margaret, how I miss North Carolina. Folks, Margaret lives in a beautiful estate and real estate. You all should see Margaret spread. My God. If the Venezuelans see Margaret spread, they won't buy shit. And then Margaret and her husband took us down to Charleston. Is that the capital there, Margaret? Remind me. Beautiful. You should see what they do with the shoreline there. Build it up, fortify it nicely, and you could walk and, beautiful, beautiful. Margaret, yourself and Rio went walking this morning. I know the old story, folks. Elizabeth, no, right? I know the old story, Elizabeth. Yeah. Elizabeth, yourself and Raymond home as yet. I know the whole thing. You know the whole thing, folks, the whole story. The whole story. So we did tell you guys that the foreign minister of Venezuela and the foreign minister of Guyana, Robert Prasad, Utah, had a meeting yesterday. I think it was a virtual meeting. But some of what Caracas put out from this meeting is just mind-boggling sometimes. It's just mind-boggling, right? You see, Margaret says Rio is a little bit under the weather. Let's pray for Margaret's other half. She's the better half. He's the other half. Let's pray for Rio this morning. He's a little under the weather. Folks, when you go walking, where Margaret and her husband go walking every morning, down there in South Carolina, in North Carolina, rather, your whole quality of life, you get to see the river and people out boating. You feel the breeze, you see the trees, the birds chirping. Your whole quality of life. You had 20 years to your life just with a scene like that. I wish we all could choose where we live. Some of you wake up, you see a burial ground. You wake up, you see a PPP. Your quality of life depreciating. One time. But they live in a beautiful area. If the Venezuelans see that they want it, they come to annex Margaret's estate there in Somerset. They want to annex it. In this communique, they like issue communique. They said they reminded Todd, our foreign affairs minister, the Honorable Todd, of the consequences of their referendum. That's what they said. Right? The overwhelming participation for the settlement of this territorial controversy, which is a Geneva Agreement signed between the parties in 1966. They want Guyana to come out of the ICJ and meet them in some good officer process, something like that. That's what they want. Right? The Venezuelan side, according to the communique, expressed the need to stop the actions of aggravation. This is the part that you realize the elevator had been in the top floor. The Venezuelan side expressed the need to stop the actions of aggravation of the controversy in the territory of Guyana Essequibo and agreed to keep the channels of communication open. We aggravating. That's what they're saying here, folks. FII family, that's what they're saying. Amelia Dennis, the thing is, we're the ones aggravating this situation. We're not aggravating it. We had the referendum. Is we talking about annexing someplace? You see? Is we, right? Is we appoint some kind of a pseudo leadership in this area? It's us. Right? It's us. Right? So Yavin Gil is the Venezuelan foreign minister himself again, and Utah had met on that issue. Right? They met on that issue. Yeah. Essequibo Lodge in Caracas. The elevator in Caracas, don't meet the top floor. Don't meet it. And we can continue that some more when we get to some of the content of the Starbucks News editorial. Today, we're going to circle back to some of that. But folks, good to have all of you on the live this morning. All right. Kyle Bino, you got to communicate today. We don't just get letters and so on, statements. Communicate. Dolly Anderson. There we go. Stalin Fontana. Good to have all of you all on the live this morning. Annette Cummins and co. Annette Cummins and company. Folks, wherever you're joining us from, good folks like Lynn Finance, we encourage all of you, share the live for us so that others get valid and incredible information as well. Good folks, please and thank you as far as we can. Valid and credible information. So that's some of what we saw overnight emanating from Caracas. Emanating from the Caracas. That's what we saw. Yolanda, Ronia Caesar. Ronia, I ain't seen in a little while. Hope you're good. Veronica Primo Rollins is here as well. Vesta Hardy, Rajkumar is here too. Ramesh Puran is here as well. That's some of what we saw. In addition to that, folks, we're learning. I think Kaiser News is carrying this report that Chavez, Maduro, same thing, same difference. Maduro has issued arrest warrants for opposition members who don't agree with this mental annexation, who don't agree with this referendum business. He has issued arrest warrants. So not only are things getting more tense on the border, internally, he's in a bad spot. Put his back against the wall. And now he gotta fight forward, Everett. Rena Cummins, Gunford Gordon. He's in a tight spot. He's in a crunch. Dissenters, he says, you're going to be locked up and sent to jail. He wants total agreement in this democratic Venezuela. Right. I wonder if Mia Motley, Prime Minister of Barbados, is following this escalation. I wonder if Keith Rowley, Dr. Keith Rowley, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, following these escalations. Rohan Basantram, what are your thoughts? Beatrice Selby, good morning and welcome. What are your thoughts? Gary Wong? Veronica Primoralin says, well, I'm not Veronica. Veronica Petrie, I pray that God confuse his actions and return upon his own head. I think we dare already. I think we're there already. Sometimes that's my prayer, Veronica. Confuse the enemy in my life, Jesus. Confuse the enemy, Father. Naomi Drucker, you're a little late this morning. You're a little late now. You see, he wants to send Maduro. Let me get a quick recap, Naomi. Bare nonsense from a communique out of Caracas. They feel the only way to solve this problem is the 1966 Geneva Agreement. They don't want nothing to do with the 1899 Arbitral Award. They want to do the ICJ. And in addition to that, Maduro now wants to imprison to jail dissenters. He wanted this agreement and this Essequibo issue. He just want to hear one tune. It belongs to Venezuela. And so members of the opposition are disagreeing vehemently with the madness. For evil to prevail, good men can stand back and do nothing. And you're good no more after that. But the opposition, they're saying, no, we don't believe this farce. No, we don't believe this nonsense. He wants to jail them. He wants to jail them. But here reason coming into the room now. Antonio Guterres, who is the Secretary General of the UN, is his job mere mortally once when his tenure comes to an end. It's his job. So that's why she only doing backroom deals, nothing in the front room. Nothing in the front room. Nothing in the front room, folks. She wants to replace Antonio Guterres. That's the play here. See, everybody looking for a bag, you know. As them boys sit in the street, everybody looking for bread. You eat your bread. So me trying to eat a bread. You'd find a hard time trying to explain all these colloquial terms and phrases and words to folks not familiar. This part of the hemisphere. So me trying to eat a bread, Sherry Jones. You know, things real desperate. They say, you're trying to eat your food, Eric Williams, Tommy Gibbs. She wants his job. But overnight, he reminded the Venezuelans, he's trying to provide some prescription for the madness, the Caracas syndrome, the Maduro syndrome, the Maduro sickness. He's trying to provide some much needed medication, reminded them of what the ICJ decision was. Remember the people who when they communicate say, y'all don't aggravate Guyanese, y'all don't aggravate this matter, you know. There we go. Marcia, Dolly. Y'all don't aggravate this matter, you know. Montel, Tessa Griffith, Sion Salvatore. Y'all don't aggravate this matter. Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, he reminded them, take no steps that will alter the status quo. Take no steps that will alter, that will aggravate the situation. Them, they're listening. Folks, they ain't listening. The hard ears. Y'all know what the hard ears, puppy? Eh? Quite like this regime and government we got to deal with. When you were growing up, your parents never told you. Hard ears, puppy. It's got problems later on. Karen Black. That's what we have here. Real problems in this country. Hard ears, puppy. The PPP believes they alone can solve the problems of this country. Even in this dire hour, they're still shutting out the opposition here, shutting out the opposition there, shutting out. Right. What we got now is the choice of the lesser of two evils. The lesser of two evils. They thought they're the bad. They thought they knew propaganda like they sat down at Maduro's feet. They sat at his feet to receive the tutelage in propaganda. in painting false narratives. The Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Guterres, you have to remind them, try to bring some sanity back to this situation. Naomi says the people like church mouse. Let them know who for bad for. True story. True words have not been spoken. They know who the bad for. Leslie Hamilton, Rohan, they know who the bad for. But that's what the UN Secretary General did overnight. Reminded them this is what the ICJ has said. What are you folks doing? It's madness. Madness in Caracas. Madness in the Caracas. Madness. Secretary General got to do what he got to do. Madness. I think today, if it's not today, it's tomorrow, there's a meeting of the UN Security Council on this very matter. On this very issue. The madness that has gripped Caracas. Oh, we got some good doctors in the Security Council that prescribe something for them. Cut out the cancer of madness they got happening there. So that's, folks, the UN end, and of course, these 7 Guyana Defense Force soldiers are yet missing, along with that helicopter that they were flying into Arau with. They tell us that's a community in close proximity to our western borders with Venezuela. On the borders with Venezuela, a whole helicopter and 7 soldiers missing. And the question was asked of the Guyana Defense Force Chief of Staff Omar Khan, the Right Honorable, His Excellency Omar Khan. You're factoring in that? He said we don't want to go there as yet. He said we don't want to go there as yet. Right? You don't want to go there as yet. You know, veteran journalist Gordon Mosley, aka Big Uncle Gordon, in this press conference yesterday that the Guyana Defense Force held on this matter, asked 2 very important questions. You could tell Gordon is a seasoned, serious, worth his salt, worth his weight in gold kind of journalist. Very important questions he asked. Marvin, the aircraft still missing. Leslie, Heaven Faith, Wendy Hudson, Warren the Garden. The aircraft still missing. But it just goes to show how fake news gets around. Lots of the media houses yesterday carried that the aircraft was found and everybody was safe. That's what they said. I heard a phone call was attributed to one person who said he heard the call and said they're safe. But then later on in the afternoon, as reality, see, all of us need a dose of reality, you know. All of us need a dose of reality. When reality starts kicking in, lots of those media houses, iNews and the Room That Got the News, took down those articles that were suggesting that the helicopter and the men who were found were all safe and sound. I saw some of you declaring boldly they are found and they're safe and they're happy. Some of you went so far as to say, oh, they eat the Chinese food now and a small cokes. I say, well, you know the whole thing. The whole thing. Terence Beaton, you were one of them, I think. Beatrice, Leslie, you were one of them. Some of you say, I see the thing. Chief of Staff late last evening in a press conference said, we went out searching, but we didn't get the result we wanted. We didn't get the result we wanted. But as I said, veteran journalist Gordon Mosley asked some very important questions, very instructive. Very instructive. Take a look at some of what he said. Some of the questions he asked. and the response of the Chief of Staff of the Ghana Defense Force, the Right Honorable Omar Khan. Take a look, folks. Take a listen.
Is the GDF concerned at all that this might be more than just an incident of a possible crash or impact? Taking into account this was a very experienced, 40 years, a very experienced pilot, knowing when to fly, how to fly in that specific area. Is the GDF concerned that this might be something more than the aircraft going down because of an emergency?
There's always a concern when something like this happens. Speculation is not what I want to go into. But of course, we have other situations in a period like what we are having now with our territorial integrity being threatened. There's many other things we can think about, which I would not want to go into. But we are considering every possibility. And right now, our priority is to find and save the lives of our officers and ranks.
Has the GDF, quickly, last question from me, has the GDF sought any assistance as yet from the U.S. Southern Command in terms of the search and rescue operations? There are reports that there have been U.S. military aircraft patrolling the skies over Guyana since this past weekend.
Well, I will tell you, incidentally, I had scheduled meetings today, several meetings, and our partners were updated on this search and rescue mission that we had today. And the US was informed, Brazil was informed, RSS was informed. And tomorrow we'll see additional assets being deployed as is necessary.
From the US and your partners?
Well, we'll have it from our partners.
Yeah, that is the Chief of Staff of the Ghana Defense Force, Mr. Omar Khan, briefing the media on the latest with this search and rescue effort by the Ghana Defense Force. Folks, if you're now joining us, welcome to the broadcast. Do us the honors of sharing the program, smashing that emoji button for us, and even partnering with us as well, so that we can do more of these programs. We're talking about what's coming out of Kampai in Ghana. It's missing helicopters, missing aircraft, and the seven of our finest. You know, I know a couple of these guys. I think Colonel Sean Welcome and I did communications at the University of Ghana together, sat in the same class. I was horrified when I saw his name listed among those missing. You know, the pilot of that aircraft, that helicopter, Michael Charles, renowned household name in this country. Let's pray for these folks. And on that note, again, journalist Gordon Mosley asked the Chief of Staff, he said, I like your demeanor, more or less. I like your demeanor. It doesn't say, you know, exude positivity. I like your demeanor. And he asked him, you know, what are you telling the families? You know, what are you telling the families of these 7 men that have gone missing? What are you telling the families? Here's the response of the Chief of Staff, Omar Khan.
Let me deviate a bit and tell you, we are a different breed of people. When we wear this uniform, it brings a new meaning to life. The enlistment in any military is not a decision that anyone could make. As a matter of fact, this is the best decision that we could have made. There are 3 types of people for me as a military officer. Those who go through life not knowing what they're good at and never finding what they're good at, and they die. And then the second type, those who go through life and knowing the latter part of their lives, what they're good at, but they did not get the time enough to develop on it. And then there are those who in the early stage of their life understand what they want and what they're best at. And those people, all of them, fall in the category of being a soldier. We live our life to serve and to protect the country that we serve. And I'm confident that every officer and every soldier is in that category. For me to tell them something to convince them that everything is okay, I can do that, but I know they're already there. Let me deviate.
Yeah. Again, that was the Chief of Staff, Omar Khan, briefing the media. He said, these men are the best of the best. They know what they're getting into. The families know what they're getting into. So there isn't much I can do, basically, to reassure them. They know the stakes. They're already there. They know the stakes. They know the stakes. That's the latest, folks. And I know the search efforts continue today. And the Chief of Staff did say they're going to get some help from other agencies in this search and rescue operation. 7 soldiers missing with this aircraft, this helicopter. The Ghana Defense Force in an area called Arao, a community, said it's not very populous, and it's in the proximity of our western border with Venezuela. That's the latest on that front, folks. That's the latest on that front. Let's get to some other issues. We're tracking this morning. Some other issues. We did tell you of this editorial out of Starbuck News, I think it is. Dangerous fantasies, the header for the editorial. Dangerous fantasy. Because that's what Maduro has here. Dangerous fantasy. A dangerous fantasy. And listen to what the editorial says. If the situation were not so dangerous, it would be clear that President Maduro was in the wrong profession. Under normal circumstances, his true vocation would seem to lie in Hollywood as a writer of B movies, of the fantasy or even comedic variety. What else could be said about a man who proposes to annex 2/3 of a neighboring state, take a census and issue ID cards of its population, divide it up into administrative units, issue exploration licenses there to Venezuelan state oil and steel companies, give an ultimatum to any operator working in waters offshore, 3 months to leave, distribute maps of the new state to all schools, colleges, and universities, designate national parks and environmental protection zone there, and set up an integral defense zone called Guyana Essequibo. Elevated meeting the top floor, that's what Starbuck News really intends. The elevator there in Caracas is not hitting the top floor. That is it. I want to recommend this editorial to you guys. Starbuck News is available online. I want to recommend it. Dangerous fantasy. There's so much PPIC in the Venezuelans. So much PPIC in there. Dangerous fantasy. Believing that this country is their birthright and they alone got the answers to the problems of this country. Dangerous fantasy. Sadly, folks, we got to build this country together. APNU, AFC, PPP, WPA, no party affiliation, Romans, Jews, and Gentiles together, Christian, Rastafarians, Hindus, and Muslims. Together, we got to sit down and we got to build this country. No one group, one party could do it. And you know what is the sad thing? And yet, the most hopeful thing, we have so much resources that all of us can benefit, but 13 we here. What is it fight down about? What is it fight down for? Together, we can do this. Together, we can overcome this adversary, however powerful he may seem, we could overcome this adversary and really live out some of what we see on paper. Fastest growing economy, biggest GDP, high income country. But no party can do it alone. That's a dangerous fantasy. Everything you can do it alone. Dangerous fantasy. And then we saw GHK Lal also has a letter. Very interesting letter in this morning's paper as well. A letter to the editor. Maduro has all but declared war on Guyana, he says. This is columnist, letter writer, influencer GKH Lal. All but declare war on Guyana. War on Guyana. That's what he says. And one of the points he makes here is that Maduro's already think this 10 steps ahead. I get a sense when they listen to the local boys. Maybe that's part of why Gordon talked about the demeanor of the chief of staff. He sounded a little defeatist. He sounded a little under the weather like Rio. He sounded a little bit under the weather. Look at what is gathering steam across the border. GKH Lal says in his letter to the editor. Look what's gathering steam across the border. It is obvious Maduro has thought this out in advance. What his next moves were going to be. What his next moves were going to be post ICJ ruling, regardless of what it was. If only my fellow Guyanese could get past the politics of self-destruction. That's what we're talking about. If only we could get past the politics and self-destruction and see this for all that it is embedded in Maduro, plan B, his plan C, and the rest that I'm almost positive that he has up his sleeve. EFGHIJK plan. President Maduro did say that he was not going to invade Guyana. He doesn't have to, not when there are other tools at his disposal to be used. He just did so, did he? In his raft of steps that is set to go into motion. This is the moment when Guyanese have to be at their soberest, their calmest. We have to think like Maduro, and be one step ahead of him. GKH Lal. Another to the editor in today's papers. Valid, credible information. Here's what we promise y'all. Valid, credible information. Maduro has all but declared war on Guyana. Leslie, Isabella, Dolly, Everett, let me go. Has all but declared war on Guyana. He ain't got to invade in the traditional way. But look what's happening, what's gathering, GKH Lal says, on the other side of the border. Look what's gathering there. Look what's happening there, folks. Let's bring you up to speed with some of the other issues we're following this morning. Before we let you go, some other issues we're following the 592. Joylyn, Wenda, Michelle, Edward. Some of the other information we're following this morning. Parliament meets on Monday, I'm certain. We're going to be discussing this Venezuela situation, among some other issues. Parliament is meeting on Monday, folks. Osmond Hart, Rena Cummins, Andrew Griffith. Monday, folks. I thought by now A. would have already addressed Parliament 4 times. What's happening with the First Lady? Hey, the First Lady living it up in China, living the vida loca, living it up in China. Tone deaf. But I remember somebody I say, "Oh, low she young." Say, "Oh, low she young." Right? I don't think we've ever had, listening to the commentators, we've ever been here, this tenseness. Referendum, annexation, all that in the air. Invasion, all in the air. First Lady bail out and gone. And living it up in China. Oh, you should see the photographs. The best hotels, the best foods. Wearing nothing but the best. Man, 5,000 shoes. 5,000 US shoes. A $2,000 belt. Living the life. How things by you, Leslie? And Kyle. How things by you, Debbie? How things by you all? I candy, Lisa. I candy asking if Jack you back. Back where? She in China, he in Dubai. Nice time. Nice time. Tone left. But that's always been the Ali's problem, hasn't it? Huh? She cock up she one foot and she back ball. Oh, she young. She young. Right? But she young now. She young now. Right? Your family safe. Where's your family nestled today? Your family worried? I can see her worried, the First Lady from China. She's showing it in all those photographs, man. Living large. Best hotels, best food, best clothing. All money never looks so good. All money never looks so good. Naomi, Elizabeth, Claudine Duqua. Never see black oil looking so good. Dark gold looking so good. Check out First Lady. Parliament on Monday, folks. Parliament on Monday. And while, First Lady can have distilled water and smart water and so on. Folks, when I was in the US for a couple of days recently, share smart water. I drink it. How do you think I said bright? Smart water day and night. Abigail, can't afford smart water here. We saw some residents recently complaining. They can't go to China and get all the filtration system and state of the art and so on. Filtered air and so on. They're trying to grapple with their water was, folks. It should be criminal for some of the things coming through the tap in this country to come through the tap. Because above Lewis, it should be criminal. It should be criminal. Folks, it's not a real place. This country is not a real place. It's a play place. Look at what we saw recently. You see this? Look story here. Elizabeth, that's coming through a tap, That's coming through a tap. Margaret, I'm sure if you saw that coming through your tap in Somerset, somebody going home by the water office, somebody going home, this is through the tap, Not through First Lady tap. No. You ain't past the First Lady. Just to think that. You don't get in China coming through the pipe. The Chinese will shut down a whole city until they're fixed. Give everybody bottled water until that is fixed. Not here. Right? And then come and say, re-elect us. Re-elect us, we can fix it in the next go round. Right? We can fix it in the next go round. That's what they can say. Give Ali some time. Give Ali some time. Give Ali some time. That's what they can come and say. Give Ali some time. Yeah. Give you some time. Right? You should get some time to find yourself. Then come into this thing. But see when you're appointed, you see when you're appointed, you see when you're installed and imposed. 3 years in, we can't fix the water problem. 3 years in, it's just getting worse. If it's not water, it's light. If it's not light, it's pension. What is working right in this country now, folks? I'm asking you, whoever you support, I'm asking you, what is working right in this country currently? What's working right? Cleaning out the water system. What is working right? Pray tell. Tell me, what's working right? As I said, some of what we saw recently, apologies there. Cash grant problems. cash grant troubles. Could you imagine? You gone out since 4 in the morning. Folks, we are out of our minds in this country, you know. Big people like you and I serve this country. You're going to get your little pension. You got to get up since 4 o'clock. Go and line up. 10, 11 o'clock, you're still waiting. That's madness. That's madness. I saw a Trinidadian Prime Minister recommended that they go cashless. That is how we should go. Countries are already there. Already there. Cashless. We still having debates. Whether we want to, should we? All of these folks should be able to be issued with a smart card. You go on any ATM, you push your card and you get your money. Anytime of the day you want to go. You got to go and line up in the sun. People treat you anyhow. Huh? 10, 15 hours you're waiting for $25,000. When you finish with that, you're going to spend all in Nutrifus, in Ginkgo biloba, and so on, just to regroup from that day. Just to regroup from that day. It's madness. COVID and taught me nothing. Logging around, use sums of money, community. This backwardness. It's backwardness. Backwardness. Somebody got to go in a book and box a page and write a name and sign, hey, she hand type, she like a 10 minutes break, you got to wait 5 more hours. It's madness. It's about 13 of us here. Issue some cards. People going to push in a bank, in ATM, any bank. Universal ATM card. Push any bank. And you get some money. Jesus have mercy. 26 of the last 31 years, we had the PPP. More things changed, the more they stay the same. Yeah. Madness. Westminster Secondary School there at Parkway Harmony. I find yesterday a student slashed across his neck. Oh, the actual photograph is so gruesome, we had to cover it up a bit. You'll be bringing up all your breakfast, all the pretty monkey ears, pot bacon, so you'll be bringing it up back. Talking about that, I feel like, Elizabeth, I feel like Waffle House girl. Elizabeth Narayan, I feel like I feel like a Waffle House experience this morning. Some eggs and some, I feel like a First Lady experience. Eggs and some pancakes, some coffee to your leisure. I feel like a Waffle House this morning. Who got me? Who got me this morning? I feel like a Waffle House. Y'all bring up all of that. Y'all bring up all of that. Slashed across his neck. These school fights are becoming more and more brutal. Right? More and more brutal. Margaret, y'all is them bad name people, you know. I see you coming. I need a Margaret experience too. When we visited with Margaret had a spread there, boy. It was like Thanksgiving. We give thanks that day to for Margaret and her husband, Rio. Fights in this country, more violent every instance. More violence. More gruesome. More debilitating. Slashed across. Right across the back of his neck. What I? Let me add some sound effects in True Guyanese style. What I? Diana's born. Isabella Butters. Right across his neck. Right? Right. Margaret, you tried to be a distraction this morning. You're trying to be a distraction this morning. Moving on. We have Honduras, more gruesome. We're getting more health professionals in the system, they tell us. Found this one very interesting. Very, very interesting. More health professionals in the system, and this is what we all could use. Right? More health professionals. We can't go wrong here. Telling us pharmacy techs and nursing assistants. Right? I like that. Medical lab technicians, environmental health assistant, X-ray technician, medexes. Right? A number of them. We need more of them. But why can't we attract them to some, why are they attracted to some institutions like the Hugo Chavez Rehabilitation Center? They were in need of nurses, they were in need of PCA and other folks there. Other folks there, why aren't we attracted? Is his salary so low? Work conditions so poor? We're producing lots of teachers, but yet the system. What is the problem? So this looks nice. 128 new medical professionals added to the health sector. Fantastic. But they're staying with us, or they're going to beat out. Congrats to all of them. Nonetheless, congratulations to each and every one of them. Needed in this system. Needed, tremendously needed. They can stay with us? I hope so, folks. Some of the other things we followed this morning, guys. Guyana is hosting CXC governance meeting and regional awards. One of the issues we're following. Cute Zulfi is still insisting that government's decision to import chicken was to address the scarcity, high prices, and protect consumers. That's the line of propaganda they're going with. That's the line of propaganda that they're going with. Zulfi, scandal after scandal, my God. And then the Purkasi Dam residents, we did some work with them, showed you how they're living there. They're still waiting on this promised relocation. Like the folks waiting on clean water, they're still waiting. We're working right in this country. Right? Name two things. Name one that are working right in this country. Energy link up. This is out of the Canada-Guyana Chamber of Commerce. They got an energy link up. They want to put some like-minded people in the same room and see if we get a different outcome with the energy sector. You know, there's a lot of blackout since them boys come back. You know, there's a whole blackout since them boys come back. It is what it is, folks. It is what it is. We got to leave it there this morning. Fortunately or unfortunately. Recommend to you the Alistair Collins firm down there at the Carlin Mall and Lamaha Street between Camp and Waterloo Streets for all your documentation needs. There's some wonderful folks, a wonderful team of folks. You know, just providing an excellent service for Guyanese, keeping their heads down. If you need a justice of the peace, a good justice of the peace, you need a commissioner of votes to affidavits, check them out. They got all of that. For all your documentation needs. The Alistair Collins firm. 649-6410, 649-6410, and 685-6448. 685-6448 for all your documentation needs, folks. You got a story, do let us know. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't do it. Don't keep it to yourself, folks. 625-6963, 627-6963, 627-6963. The one number, folks. And remember to partner with us so we keep bringing you, folks, valid and credible information. We didn't get a subvention from nobody. We don't run for it. As people see the program, they say too political, they're going to be victimized, the business going to be victimized, this, da. We are solely dependent on you guys to get from day to day, week to week, month to month. 3 years we out here. John Abrams, Edward Brooms, Newton Lewis, Marcy Agart, 3 years. This past November, wow. When we started, I didn't know we'd be here 3 years. We just had a passion for keeping you guys informed. We didn't know how long it was going to go. We still don't know, but we're grateful. We're grateful to be here 3 years. Anne Marie Selby, have a great day, and all of you folks leaving us. Well, we're leaving too. Have a great day, folks. Until our next broadcast. Ingrid and Ayabo and Lorraine and Levy Go. I can't leave Dolly Anderson, Elizabeth Narayan. Good to have all of you on the broadcast. Raymond Narayan, Rio, and Margaret Nelson, Glenford Gordon. Good to have all of you on the live this morning. Isabella Butters, I can't leave. Jacqueline and all these sweet folks. That's going to do it for us at this end, folks. That's with time. That's our program. Stay safe, good folks. Until the next one. Until